welcome to the Sweet and Spicy Podcast. My name is Kate.
And I'm Cecily.
And this is different.
Yeah, it is.
This is a lot different. Welcome to those of you who don't know. We now are faces on YouTube as well. Those of you who are listening on Spotify or Amazon Music or anything like that don't understand. And that's okay. But we also now have a YouTube channel where our podcasts get uploaded and you can see our faces and actually our reactions to when we do things. So, this is a big new thing in season 2. I'm excited about it.
I'm excited, but I'm also dazed, so.
Yeah, you are. Okay, so you have a nice little book for us today.
I do not just have a book. I have a whole series. I have a stack of books for you today.
What do you mean by a stack?
I mean, I have a stack.
Jesus. Okay. I think that's enough books.
We are discussing a series, a universe, a beloved universe.
By one of your...
I'm actually
This one's by your favorite, isn't it?
She's one of my, top 5. I don't have one favorite. I'm not that type of person. That's too much commitment. But I do have, top 5s, top 10s. She's definitely one of them. This is the Under the Moon universe by Vera Foxx with 2 X's, if you please. This is Alf Kane, and this is Clara, which their names do change. Actually, there's some rewrites and edits going on, and even after that, it, or wait, I can't remember if that's the new one. So Vera Foxx is actually a cool thing here. A shout out to Dream. I know that there are some things that people talk about with Dream. It's one of those apps you can read books on. I found Vera there, and her book started there. And then she got a publishing deal, and then I followed her on her own, and then I've purchased them, and I've read them and reread them because they're awesome. So, the series starts. I was just going to kind of roll into it because it's, like I said, it's a whole universe. So, Under the Moon, Vera Foxx is an entire universe series that actually created sub-universe series. It's awesome. So plot rating is obviously, plot rating is obviously 10 out of 10 for me. 12 out of 10 even. Love this entire universe, everything it does. Spice, there's a lot of spice in all of the books, and there's also, she does a really good job of having different types of spice. Certain characters are into certain things more than others, and so I find that that's pretty neat. And of course, this is a supernatural universe, so it's werewolves and all kinds of creatures, and I just like the way her mind works. So in the first book, Clara is the main character, and her aunt died. She was working a dead-end job at a cafe with her nice neighbors who were friends with her, and their daughter was supposed to be her best friend and this other guy. But of course, naturally, the daughter was in love with the guy friend, and the guy friend was in love with Clara, and Clara was oblivious and didn't want none of that. So naturally, the best friend wasn't a very nice best friend and hated her under secret. But she was still close with the best friend's parents.
Which is, okay, so I get it. Jealousy is a really rude, mean thing. But that is not fair. She can't control what the dude does. And it's not her
friend's fault. Because, she didn't try to go after him. He just chose her.
No. She even was like, I don't like this dude.
Yeah, we're friends. That's it. So, her aunt dies, and she's all she's ever known, and her aunt didn't really, talk a whole lot. She was very quiet life. She knew her husband had died, and, Clara's under the assumption her parents are dead, and that's why she's with her aunt. You will note I said assumption. So when Margaret dies, that's Clara's aunt, she left her a cabin way out in a town that's really secluded, and they don't really let strangers in. So when Clara gets there, they're kind of like, huh, okay. I mean, she's Margaret's niece, so they all knew Margaret. So she's the talk of the town, and then Clara finds a job at like another diner, and she makes new friends, and it's going really well. But the town she's in is a place called Evergreen. And Evergreen is a werewolf town. There is an alpha. It's full of werewolves, the whole place. And
I was not expecting humans for your first episode back.
Absolutely not. Werewolves. And it just gets onward from there. So
at least there's no tentacles this time.
Yet.
That I know of.
Oh no, there's tentacles.
Okay, cool. Keep going.
If I can find a way, there's tentacles. So.
Oh my god.
Anywho, I mean, it's not part of this specific Under the Moon, but it is part of the Under the Moon God series, which we will get to. Because like I said, this is a big welcome back episode, and I'm covering an entire universe. Y'all buckle in. Yeah, especially because I'm rambling too. So, Clara doesn't think, she has very low self-confidence, even though, of course, she's beautiful, and she's a petite little thing. She's very tiny. So there's a guy there who's, after her, and he happens to be from Bulgarian. Bulgarian is the alternate dimension, kind of space where all the supernatural creatures came from. Because in this universe, the lore is that there were the gods, and then the gods created, they had humans, and then the humans were turning evil, and so the gods created shifters and helped regain control of the humans, but the shifters had to go into hiding, and then because the shifters were so bloodthirsty, the only thing that could calm them down was because the goddess Selene created a mate for each of them, so everybody's soul has their other half. So once they got mates, they became more relaxed and not so brutal, and they're just hidden werewolf packs. Well, they're hidden as far as in the earthly realm, because naturally humans found out and were like, no, torches, pitchforks, the usual.
Yeah, because they were jealous, because they were like, I want these powers. I want to be strong.
Bulgarian exists, but you have to get through it through a portal. Evergreen just so happens to be the wolf pack that guards the portal's entrance on Earthside, stateside. So,
fancy.
Clara's there, where all these people could come through from other races, so other places, and she has no idea, of course, but the guy who's into her, I believe his name's Jasper, because that was what she did, rewrites and changed the names on parts of it, and then now it's undergoing rewrites again, so I'm even a little out of the loop on some things because I've gotten behind on my reading and things. So Jasper is after her. Homie even pees by her porch to try to mark his territory because he hasn't met his mate yet, and he's older, and he thinks she's cute and adorable, and so he's like, she's human, so she doesn't have a mate, so he's like, I'm just gonna, pick her.
So this is where I'm gonna question that she is human.
It's a good question to ask. We're not quite there yet, but it's an excellent question. Because
they're never human.
Everyone who's there, her Aunt Margaret, came from this place, so obviously Aunt Margaret must have been a werewolf to have lived in the werewolf town. So, so everyone's kind of keeping it on the down low, not saying anything. And Clara is actually, because she is just such a sweetheart, she's winning people over right and left. She works at the diner, she serves food. At first, werewolves were kind of like, who the heck is this? What is this? But there was a little boy who was obsessed with her. And she helps him out at the diner, and over time she pretty much becomes friends with everybody who comes into the diner, and they all call her Little Fox because she's so tiny. She's not a fox, but that is her nickname, and they are all calling her Little Fox. And so they're talking about this big party this weekend, which is actually a mating ball kind of deal where people from Bulgarian come, people from other packs come. Because in Bulgarian, all the werewolf packs live with all the other creatures that exist in that universe. The Fae, the Atlanteans, dragons.
Is the Atlanteans where
orcs.
the tentacles come in?
Nope, even better. I'm not going to tell you till I get to that part. So just keep guessing.
I'm chomping at the bit here.
So, they live there with all the other supernatural creatures. Vampires, of course, everything. So, some of them are coming to this mate thing. And there's other packs coming, of course, too. And it's going to be a big thing. It's like a weekend thing. They go, they swim. There's like a boathouse. It's like a whole like camp vibe. But everybody's hoping to meet their one and only. One of the people coming is Alpha Kane. He is the alpha of his pack, and he's been there for like, I think like a century at this point. And the longer you go without your mate, the bloodthirstier and meaner, bloodthirstier, is that a word? It is now. And rougher you are. And that is Alpha Kane. He's very tall. He's imposing. He's covered in tattoos, of course.
Of course he is.
Duh. Here's the cool part. Alpha Kane is so strong. His pack that he's over, which I believe is the Crimson Shadow pack, is actually the guardian pack for the Moon Kingdom. And the Moon Kingdom is where the king and queen of werewolves rule. The king of queen and werewolves had a daughter.
She's the princess.
But she was kidnapped.
She's the princess.
So, listen, it's a lot.
Okay, so she's the princess. Good to know.
So he's the guardian. He's the big bad alpha guardian. And he has an ability that is typically only granted to royals. Rather than shifting completely into his wolf, he and his wolf can hold their form together in like a half shifted state. Kind of like a lichen, but not quite. So he gets taller, bigger, the teeth come out, some claws come out, but he's still human. So it's
like a demi-form.
I think so. And like one eye is the human eye, one eye is the wolf's eye, and they can hold it.
Okay, but that sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's really badass. So it's usually only something the royals can do, but Alpha Kane can do it. And they say it's because he's so bloodthirsty. And plenty of women have tried to get with him, and he tried chasing after women, but he hasn't been with anybody in years because he just got tired of it. And he's just like, whatever.
This isn't worth it.
He hates it. Hates life. He's very grumpy. He has a sister, and his sister has actually been there and working and helping out at the diner with the pack and made friends with Clara. So she's like, oh, you got to come out with us. You got to hang out with us. And so they go out clubbing that night, the night before the little mating weekend thing. Mm-hmm. And there's different ones. And someone, she sees Alf Kane there, and she's like kind of drawn to him. And she goes to say something to him, but she wasn't actually trying to pick him up. She was going to say something, like legit just to tell him something that she noticed. And he like, what do you want, skank? Because he's so used to women throwing themselves at him. And she gets very upset and leaves. And then here's the thing. This man is terrifying. This alpha is terrifying. But that entire pack is upset that he hurt little Fox's feelings. Like, it's adorable.
As they should be.
As they should be, because they're like, she's the sweetest little thing, and look what you did. Joke's on him, because the next day at the mating ball, because he was also a little drunk and mad because people are bonding up and he's still alone, as you would be.
He's grumpy and lonely.
Yes. So the next day, she's there, arrives. She's kind of trying to put it out of her mind because she was so upset, because it was just the way he yelled at her, and no one yells at her, because why would you yell at a sweet little creature like her?
Yeah.
So Alpha Kane is there, and by the sober light of day, he realizes, holy shit, that smell. My mate is here. And he just takes off after her. She literally takes off running, like, oh my god, why is this guy chasing me? She climbs a tree to get away from him. And this is happening in front of everybody.
She said, what the
Yeah, she's hauling out. I mean, if you were a short little female and some tall tattoo guy started chasing you, if you were a normal female, you would want to run and hide. And if you were us, you would run just to be caught because we have issues.
I would not run. I would turn around and be like, hello.
Well,
how are you?
There are those that would run to be caught who have issues.
That's fair. I mean, there might be fun in that.
So.
Oh no, I have to run away.
So anyway, the other kicker is when she was trying to get away, Jasper helps her, like, tells her to swim and, like, tries to prevent Kane from going after her. And Kane is pissed because that's, like, his gamma or delta. Yeah. And he's like, oh, hell no. He is raving mad. But that's when he goes and he gets to her and he's, like, trying to climb the tree. And his sister's like, Kane, calm down. Because, like, his sister is about the only person who his wolf will tolerate to calm him down. And so she's trying to calm him down. Currently. And she's like, you're scaring her. You're scaring her. Please stop. You're an idiot. And so
like, you're
eventually,
kind of freaking her out right now.
So they get her to come down, and she allows him to talk to her, and, like, she's like, okay, so he's not that bad, just, you know, kind of gruff. And they, like, go to a bonfire, and the alpha tells the story of the original mates of the werewolves, which she thinks is just, like, a fun fire story, but everyone there is like, yes, like, mesmerized, because that's their culture. Mm-hmm. And then the sister asks her if she believes in soulmates, because, you know, humans have the concept that the wearers do. Yeah. And she's like, you know, it sounds nice to have that person. And she's kind of, like, thinking of what it would be like and having an instant attraction and different things. And everyone's kind of all smug because they're like, Alpha Kane has found his mate after, like, 100 years. And he has to explain to her that he's freaking alpha of the largest pack in a parallel dimension where supernaturals exist. So,
I was gonna say, and that he's not human, and that they exist at all.
Yeah, so that's a lot. And then there's a whole part of the book where this chick, like, tricks her into going into a room. And there's a couple mating, and she almost gets attacked. It's a whole thing because there's always a jealous hoe. Yeah. Always.
And it's usually, I'm so sorry. It's usually, like, the person that they deem as the pack skank.
Always.
It's usually the pack whore.
So, she kind of learns about werewolves really fast. But she kind of takes it in stride. And, she's like...
You kind of have to.
Yeah, so she's like, okay, we're mates, huh? And, you know, just kind of starts living her life, and they're living. He's been staying there because he can't take her to Bulgarian yet. But then he realizes, her whole life, a rose has showed up on her pillow on her birthday. And she doesn't understand why or who it's from. Well, a rose shows up again, and Alpha Kane is like, hell no. This is my mate. Nobody's leaving roses for her. Come to find out, there's a vampire that had his sights set on her for years. And she was supposedly hidden with her aunt, but the roses appeared, and she never said a word to her aunt. And she should have, because her aunt could have been like, oh shit, and realized they had been found and they needed to move again. But she didn't. So the vampire discovers that she left, goes and realizes she's now amongst a bunch of wolves, and he's not happy about it. In the meantime, her and Kane kind of learn how to talk to each other, how the relationship's going to go, and they also start to get freaky. It takes a while, though, for the full Monty. She's kind of wants to move slow, which for, like, 100-year-old alpha who's been dying for a mate, like, she's trying to kill this man. She's trying to kill this man.
After you're explaining this, I think I have read this.
It's possible.
I think I have read this.
I freaking love this. I don't know how you wouldn't have read it. I've recommended it so many times. So,
maybe I have read it and I just didn't recognize the name or something. Keep telling me more about this. Maybe
So,
I just read something similar.
basically, as it goes along and they're living their life and trying to figure out this vampire thing, they start uncovering all kinds of things, and they start to have questions about who Clara's parents actually are. And because she's so accepting of the supernatural and different things, and so they start to realize, holy crap, this vampire, this is who her parents sent her away from to hide from. 1 plus 1 makes 2, and through a series of events, they realize that she is indeed the lost princess of the Moon Kingdom. And so, Cain is like dumbfounded, because he's like, his character is very highly intelligent war strategist, but on some stuff he's just like, duh. So, he is like completely flabbergasted. His flabbers are seriously gasted. Everyone else is like, oh, this is amazing. And so they're waiting on her parents to come to, finalize, verify, all that good stuff. Because they didn't know what had happened, because there was a portion of time where they just had to stay away to try to protect her. Well, before they get there, she is kidnapped by the vampire. And the vampire...
Of course she is.
Was the ruler of the vampire kingdom in Bulgarian, and he has like his half sister with him who's like a witch and a vampire, more like a sorceress because she's extremely powerful, but he treats her like utter garbage, of course, because he doesn't believe in half-breeds, even though he is chasing after the Moon Kingdom princess, which would make his children half were, half vamp, but whatever. Logic defies most villains that you read about. So he kidnaps her, and she's stuck there for days, but she kind of befriends his sister, and she's just like, this is insane. And Cain, of course, is going nuts trying to find her. So finally, when they come in, they all show up to rescue her. She has them help the sister, and they all leave and all that good stuff. Well, in the midst of everything, the bad guy escapes, of course. Most of his forces are all trapped, but the head dude has escaped. He's a duke, if I remember. Well, no, that wouldn't be right. I'm thinking of the other book. Disregard. Anywho, he escapes. They have her back. And, she's met her parents and things. And she has been marked. He marked her early. They're supposed to mark each other at the wedding. But Cain was just like, no, I want to mark her. And she's like, I want your mark too. Well, once he marks her, she is becoming a were again. They weren't sure what was happening to her, but that is what started to happen. And she is kidnapped again because the dude escaped, of course. And he's working with a powerful witch who claims she can remove the mark and all this other stuff so he can have her, because he's still determined to have her because he thinks he could take over the entirety of Bulgarian if he's with the Moon Kingdom's princess. Who, coincidentally, did I say, she is not only the princess, she is the crowned princess. She is the only child they had at the time, and she is queen to be. So he thinks he can take over.
Yeah, there's a whole group of people that are probably not going to allow that to happen.
Correct, but he's Delulu. And like we said, logic escapes the villain. So, he kidnapped her again. But she had been slowly communicating with her wolf, and finally her wolf comes through and tears him to pieces. Well, she was able, because of course she's a royal and all of that good stuff, she's able to kind of link Cain, and they're figuring out where they're at, and they're like hidden deep in this tree, and they're coming to save her, but they don't even have to come save her, because when she shifts, her little wolf goes crazy and just obliterates them. And she's so fast because she's tiny, her wolf is tiny, and it happens to look like a fox. It's red with the white tuft.
Okay, this makes me happy.
It's so cute. It's so cute.
It's very cute. I like the little detail.
Yes. So, there's like a bunch of other stuff that goes on. It's really in depth. And turns out Jasper, the guy who was in so much trouble for his BS, is actually mates with the vampire's half sister that was after her. And so he has to struggle to connect with her because he was after Clara. And she's like, I don't want to be your seconds. And he's like, but you're my mate. And she's like, but you weren't going to wait for me. So it's like he has problems. But Clara did go to bat for him.
Honestly, though, I would have been mad too.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. But that happens. There's other stuff that's happening as part of it, and the coolest part is there's this little boy that like she had made friends with and helped, and he like is her first little royal guard she creates. So he's a little kid, but once he turns 18, he'll go to the Royal Academy and become a proper guard for the royal family. Adorbs. Because he was like a quiet little kid and like everyone thought he was a bit off in different things or that he wasn't that strong, but he like becomes her royal guard stuff and everything. She has interesting times with her parents because her mom is kind of heinous. Like she's like at first she's pretty awesome, but much later you'll see where she gets kind of heinous. But she's also very strict about what she should and shouldn't do as the future queen. And Clara finally has to tell her, like, I gotta make my own way here. Like, I understand.
You didn't raise me. You got rid of me.
Exactly. Yeah, there's some struggle there, which they did it to protect her. But they're very upset that they didn't know Margaret had died and different stuff, but they couldn't stay in contact with her.
But, like, they also cannot be mad that she's not who they want her to be, because they left her.
Correct. Her dad's not, but her mom's kind of a pain. But it seems to get better. They have a beautiful little wedding. And there's a really funny part where when he removes the garter, he literally, like, plays with her under the dress in front of God and everybody at the wedding reception. Like, gets her off. And like, everyone laughs and thinks it's a joke. And, like, it becomes, like, a tradition throughout the whole series with different ones. Like,
even
could you
imagine?
thought
that was outrageous.
Well, because could you imagine, like, sitting there getting your garter taken off and, like, man's under there fooling around? Like, sir.
No, that's why I eloped and did a party. You didn't do the garter thing. You put the garter on a Wookiee.
I did. Because it's really freaking awkward to sit there and have somebody feel up your leg. It's just weird.
It is.
I feel like that has roots in the tradition where they had to watch the king and queen fuck to make sure that they consummated properly.
I feel like that is a big thing.
Like, and I'm like, you don't need to see that. I'm not into that.
No.
Not into it. So, that concludes the first book. Obviously, I've left out some big chunks of information, but that's so you go read it. So, once you read this book is somewhat simultaneously happening with the Alpha's Kitten. I enjoy this one. I have a thing for the nickname Kitten. Don't know why,
I know
but
you
I do.
I shouldn't know that you do, but I do know that you do.
Listen, you don't have to talk about these things. So this is about Wesley and Charlotte. The other thing I will throw out...
Her name is Leslie?
Wesley and Charlotte.
Wesley.
No, it is not Leslie. Okay. That would have been crazy.
It would have been, and I would have laughed.
So these covers also, if you like have these, I saw that they'll be getting all new covers with the rewrites. So these will become like a unique thing. So anywho, Wesley Hale is like, he's not king of the Earthside werewolves, but he is pretty much like the strongest alpha of the Earthside werewolves. So he's also a CEO of his Hale Enterprises. He owns hotels,
of course
businesses.
He's a CEO.
He's a big time dude. One night, his cybersecurity fails, and so his beta reached out to some cyber tech he advertised online. She shows up to come help him out. Her name is Charlotte. And she has always been on the run. She was abandoned and adopted as a kid. I can't remember if she was abandoned. Crap. It's been a minute. She's either abandoned or her parents died. But either way, she was staying with an abusive foster parent named Roman. And she went on the run from him. And she's a computer genius, so she uses her computer skills to stay hidden. So one of the things she does on the side from her regular job is this cyber stuff. So she shows up and she's there in like a trench coat going like late at night, and she's, you know, going to the CEO's room, and the hotel manager there is being a real heifer about it, accusing her of trying to be a hoe and all this other stuff. And the alpha shows up and is like, what are you doing? Did I not call her to come over here? Like, it's a whole thing. And the manager's like, shit, because she's after the alpha, of course. Who's not? So, anywho, Charlotte shows up, and at first he kind of doubts her skills, and then she fixes his problem in, like, a few seconds, and is also like, here, you might want to check this IP address. This is how they were logging in and all this other stuff. But the whole time, he realizes, oh my god, this chick's my mate. So he's like, oh my god, and he's after her, and he's like, I've got to do something. So he's trying to find out all about her, which is complicated because there's not a lot known about her, but he figures out where she is. So he decides to offer her a job. And
as one does.
He offers her a job as like head of his cybersecurity, and he's like, oh, you'll have to move to where I'm at my compound. This is where I run everything or whatever. So he puts his pact on strict alert that there's no shifting near the pack house while she's there, and no talking about this, that, or the other. And, like, she notices all the weird little things, because she does agree to go to him. It takes a minute, but she does agree to go with him.
I'm so sorry. Did you see the little ear?
What?
Frey.
I missed it. I have it shrunk because I'm like looking at notes, so I don't see the full image.
So Freya literally, here's Freya. This is a Freya's. So they don't want to see your butt, my love. Come here.
All I see is her tail flapping.
Come here. Hey. There she goes. So she walked up behind my computer. And then right in front of the camera, and just her little ear, and just like her little ear was like down here.
I missed it. I wasn't focused.
It was funny. Okay, sorry. That's a blooper, but y'all are gonna see it. So, because it was a malfunction. It was a cat malfunction. Because she also moved the camera and knocked it over.
Amazing.
Anyway.
So, where was I at? Oh, yes. So, before she agrees to go with him, she does agree to go on a date with him. Only because one of her friends at the job she's been working is actually from his pack. Because different members of his pack will come into the human town so they can work around and try to find their mate. So she's friends with her, and she's all like, he's really great, da-da-da-da-da, and she's trying to talk him up and everything, because it turns out all the people she has hung out with, because she went to her birthday, were alphas. So that's actually where she was headed that night. That's why she accused her of looking like a hooker, because she was dressed to go clubbing with her for her birthday. So naturally, she met the dude. She was like, She goes to the club with a friend. The friend convinces her to be there and dance. Well, the alpha was there in town because he was there for her birthday as well. So he, like, dances with her in the dark without her realizing who it is. And then they have their date planned. And after their date, he's like, please come work for me. And she's like, Mr. Hale, this is inappropriate, da-da-da-da. And he's like, no, please come work for me. And, like, he tries to make it appropriate. And then, of course, it's not. So he does set her up with a job. She takes over cameras. They have, like, a whole room, and she's, like, in control of it for cameras around the pack. It's very advanced. They're very wealthy. And she starts... You know, she's got different footage, different things are going on, but some weird things started to happen, and they start to realize that, like, something's after her, and of course, They are hosting they're hosting like a big party, another mate finding event, and different people are going to be there. So she had helped with that and different stuff. And turns out there's different things that happen and occur. And turns out that her foster father, who was abusive and a psycho, was also a vampire. And he was trying to keep her for himself. He had adopted her to keep her for himself, to become his chosen. He's trying to claim she's his mate, but she's not. So there's another vampire after our main character, which is just rude. What is that face for?
I didn't expect another vampire.
I know.
You threw me for a loop on that.
You think it would be different, and then it's not. It does get different, though.
But to be fair, if they got, like, king vampires really terrible, I'd imagine the other vampires are probably pretty terrible, too.
So some of them are good, some of them are bad. In the previous book, I don't think I mentioned it, but a lot of the vampires under him were commanded and had no choice. They didn't want to be doing what they were doing. They were forced to be.
That's how the cookie crumbles.
It is. So at the end of the first book, actually, there is a vampire who was under that spell, and he kind of liked Clara, but he realized he had no chance, even though he did ask her to take him as a second mate, and Cain lost his shit. Yeah.
I didn't realize they were allowed more than one mate.
It can happen.
Is this a book later?
Yes. Twins. It's called Twinning and Sinning. Anywho, I really like that book, actually. So, and then we have that vampire story later, because she basically tells him, listen, nah, you're great, you're gonna find your mate, go on your way. And she gives him her old Jeep and like stuff, and he travels around to different vampire covens Earthside looking for his mate. Because like I said, there are the good ones. The Earth ones, most of them are good. They have little covens, they have blood banks, they have blood volunteers, all kinds of stuff. Everything's on the up and up, which is how it's supposed to be. But the evil king was doing everything bad, and was also smuggling humans into Bulgarian to be blood bags, which is a major no-no, because humans aren't supposed to be there unless they're the mate of a super. So, big time bad. So, in this one, the vampire is after her, and he does end up successfully coming that night of the party and kidnapping her. She was hiding in the safe room, but there was some betrayal and different things going on, and he escaped with her. And so they were having to try to find her, and it was a whole thing. And he, of course, is working with a witch, but he isn't just working with a witch. That witch was working with a demon. So,
okay, so we got demons now too?
Yes.
Are there different types of demons?
Yes.
Okay.
So this was a demon, and this particular demon had escaped from Tartarus, and they ended up having to use the royal sorceress. She had to come, Bodhi, and she has gone without a mate for a long ass time too, but she's very powerful. And so they're like, well, we're gonna have to call on Hades to get rid of this demon, because even when they get her back from the vampire, the demon is still after her, and the demon is inhabiting a body there. And so the demon is still after her, and the sorceress is like, we're going to have to call out to Hades. And this is where you begin to get introduced into the Under the Moon, the God series. And the God series is a retelling of all the stories of the Greek gods with her twist. It's a phenomenal twist. It is a part of this universe, but it's like its own series, so I wasn't going to include it today. But I do have some of those books that happen. These are two of the stories that are in there. Hades, Ember, and Lucifer's redemption. Hades being Lucifer's father. And Hades' Ember through the series, Hades Ember is actually the long lost daughter of Wesley and Charlotte. So she becomes a goddess because she's the mate of God. Because what Vera does that is absolutely amazing. Obviously, Hades and Persephone is a big story. In her version of events, the gods all had their dalliances and everything. And Hades was obsessed with Persephone. But in this case, Persephone, she liked Hades. Everything was cool. But then after the moon goddess created mates for all the supers, she decided that the gods needed mates as well. So now the gods have mates. And so Persephone found her mate in an archangel and left Hades. And Hades was devastated. And so we would get into that in that series.
I just want to point out that the supervisor has now entered the chat.
I heard that. So anywho, they got her back from the vamp just to lose her to the demon, and then they had to call on Hades because they basically need Hades to send the demon back to hell. And so they're all trying to get there before she has to defend herself. But guess who else was turning into a wolf? Which I don't think she had any DNA. I think his bite turned her completely. I think she was human and she got turned. Like, it's kind of fuzzy because it has been a minute. And I don't want to completely spoil, and a lot of this is very interesting when you get into it. So anywho, she turns into a wolf, and with no training, she tears that demon up, and then Hades is able to burn it with hailfire, and the soul is trapped and can never leave Tartarus.
I think that's cool that she brings in the Greek gods and stuff, the gods and things.
But
I like that
awesome.
she mixed. I like that she did the Hades and stuff one, but then made Lucifer their kid. So she's bringing in multiple little.
Oh yeah, it's great. So they are saved. Hades owes them like a debt of gratitude, and basically Hades places a ring of protection around their pack. So they'll forever have peace because there's protection around their pack. But the gods are still the same petty Greek gods that they always are.
Of course. You cannot have a retelling without pettiness.
And one of the other goddesses, Demeter, helps a creep. So she figures out and tricks a pup into helping her get around the border.
And she steals their kid.
She steals their daughter. And that's how, seeking Hades' embers, you find out what happened there. And they're devastated. They had a daughter and they had 2 sons. And she's kidnapped and they can't find her. And of course they're miserable. Charlotte she's like a cyber guru, and the cameras were down.
Her kid is gone.
Yeah, and she couldn't do anything about it. So that was horrible. But you do learn in her book how she is found and everything. But like I said, that's part of the God series, so I kind of want to keep it separate. So at the end of this book, you just know that they're having babies and happily ever after, and they're adorable. And Alpha Wesley is very, very dominant. And she's kitten, so she's all about it. Same thing, I didn't mention it, but the spice in this book, Cain is an alpha dom daddy, and she does whatever he says. Like, that's how he prefers it. There is a scene where he lets her take control before he absolutely loses his marbles and has to take it back. But it's very good. We're talking very good alpha dominant daddies here. Then there is this book, Finding Love with the Fae King. This book is probably my favorite.
I can tell you're like all excited about it.
So this one is about Melina and Osiris. Melina is a little human, or we think, that lives with her. Her parents gave full guardianship to her best friend's parents because they just didn't ever want to be around. She was a oops. She was an inconvenience. So her parents were like, here you go, take her. which sucks. But at least her best friend that their parents took in actually is her best friend and is not a jerk. So, but of course, Melina is like, her parents couldn't even love her. How would she find love elsewhere? But her best friend's name is Tulip, and Tulip found her mate. Yes, Tulip is a great name. Tulip found her mate, so they get special permission from the new king and queen of Bulgarian, Clara and Kane, to bring Melina to Bulgarian for Tulip's wedding, because her mate is a member of their pack in Bulgarian. So Tulip will be moving. And Melina's upset because she's like, no, my only friend. But she's also kind of fascinated. So Melina's there, and they invited the Fae King to the wedding. So to back up some, in Under the Moon, when they get to Bulgarian with her parents and everything, there is still some more drama there because of some old rogue wolves and different things. And she had to be rescued again. But she also met the Fae King, and everyone was warning her about how he was a trickster and a womanizer. But one of Clara's abilities she's gaining as a royal quickly, they have different powers. She can, obviously she's a very kind and empathetic person anyway, so she can read people and kind of figure them out. But she also gets dreams and things. So she can see certain things that are going to come. So when she meets Osiris, he's trying to, play this whole role that he's got as he's supposed to be a big-time playboy hoe. Like, he just sits up in his kingdom effing because the fairies are known for wild debauchery. Duh. But the Fae Kingdom is known for being, all kinds of wild. So she sees through it. They become friends. They sign an agreement. She's already winning over diplomacy, and her mother's like, this isn't how it works. And she's like, yeah, well, I just signed an agreement with the Fae King where you never did. Burn. Yeah, deserved. So anywho, Melina has special permission to attend the wedding. Osiris is attending the wedding. And Clara is just wandering around with a twinkle in her eye because she knows what's going to happen at the wedding. So they're there, and the king is very what? The Fae King is very what the fuck is going on? And he's there with his protectors and different things. And he locks eyes and realizes that Melina is his mate. And so he tries to just haul off with her. And she's just like, what are you doing? Why are you kidnapping me? Put me down. Loses her stuff.
Because she doesn't know, and I'm guessing he thinks that she's not human.
He's
so
assuming.
She would know why he was doing this, and there should be no assumption.
Well, no, he knew she was human, but I guess he's assuming that she might have been warned she could have been found a mate or something. So he's just like, come on, you're mine. And she's like, hold the F up, bro. Because, of course, she also struggles to trust people. And so, Clara kind of talks to her. And, basically she talks him into kind of giving him a chance. And so it kind of goes from there. And so she does decide to go with him. And he has been alone for hundreds of years. And he did, so he did party around and stuff, and then he quit for hundreds of years, but there's still people out there with the rumors, and Osiris leaves the rumors alive because he knows there is a problem in the Fae realm. And some of the leaders, because he has a council, he knows there's a problem, and he's trying to figure out who's on whose side. And there's the elements of the Fae that the elders, this council group, they want everything to be prim and proper. They don't use their wings, even though they have them. They keep them hidden away. And they just have this really weird thought process for everything. And, the Fae, when they're angry, they can turn into, the stories of the Irish fairies. With, the fangs, teeth, and claws, and rage.
That's cool.
But the council is that's inappropriate. We don't need to resort to such base means. We're not shifters, all this other stuff. And Osiris is like, this is our natural way of being, because Osiris, when he does it, he's even more powerful. But Osiris can also read auras. That's his main gift. And so he can always read someone's aura and know what's up. So he takes Melina with him, but he's being very cautious about who and what she is, because he doesn't want anyone to steal his queen, while he's still trying to figure out who's against him. So their story goes on. He's like taking her places, traveling around with her, flirting with her. She's looking around the Fae area. She kind of runs into this group home, and there's a woman there who's absolutely awful. Not at the group home, but there's a woman who says she works for the king and all this other stuff and tries to get with him, but she's actually the main bad council guy's daughter, of course. And but like she helps this little Fae orphan and different things. And Osiris is like in love with her, but he's like keeping her kind of locked up. But he's also realizes that she's very much a brat. So their relationship eventually turns into very much brat dom situation, because she brats hard all day 24/7. And whenever you have her character in any other books of the series, she is still bratting out, being god awful, like major brat. But during all their drama, she does end up, of course, she gets taken away for safety. She's pissed about it, because things start getting worse and worse, and it's coming down to a battle, and he sends her away with his dragon. Yes. So in this world, there are dragons who are dragons, and there are dragon shifters. Dragons who are dragons are much more rare, and Horus is like a beautiful gold dragon who's been around for ages, and he's loyal to Osiris because Osiris helped him out. And this dragon takes her away somewhere safe, and she's so mad at Osiris, but he takes her to this island. And while she's on the island, she meets a guy that she had met when her and Osiris were traveling before, and he is a siren. And he's like, the siren realizes he's drawn to her, but he doesn't know why. Well, she goes to this island, and he shows up because he's a siren, and he can go pretty much anywhere there's water. Mm-hmm. And he's like, why don't you come see Atlantis with me? And she's like, what? And he's like, yeah, like, I don't know, I just feel like really, why don't you come see Atlantis with me, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, I can help you. Because he had heard her singing. I forgot about that part. When Osiris first saw her, she was singing by the water. And he thought how beautiful it was.
I have suspicions.
You should have suspicions.
Can I voice my suspicions, or are my suspicions correct?
I mean, your suspicion is probably very correct.
Okay. We'll keep going then.
So Horus, even though he's supposed to be protecting her, is like, go ahead, go on. You know, go with the dude. So she goes with him. She gets to Atlantis. He takes her to, like, his sea witchy friend, who's kind of, like, looking at her, gives her, like, a shell necklace to help her out with something, but, I don't know why that part just completely blew my mind. But either way, he takes her back, takes her to the castle, because he just so happens to be the youngest prince of the Siren King. And there's a bunch of brothers, 7 brothers, like the 7 seas, all that kind of good stuff. And
I know that it's for the 7 seas, and I know the exact same reason for Ariel is because of the 7 seas, but it's still funny to me that it's like, he has 7 sons. But Ariel had 7 daughters. Ariel had 6 other sisters.
Yes. So he has all these sons. Anyway. And she shows up at the castle. At first, everyone's kind of confused. And they're like, holy crap. She is his half-sister. Her father was not human. Apparently, her mom was on an island vacation one day. And Big King Siren Daddy found her, saw her, they had a heck of a good time, and then that hoe would not leave her boring earthly life to go be with him forever, even though they were mates. Like, I adore my husband, But there's still a strong possibility if somebody pops out and is like, I'm your mate and like is a freaking mermaid, I'm probably going. Because who wants to be up here anymore? Like, seriously. Am I wrong?
This is like really hard though, right? Because like I do love my husband.
It is, and I would probably try to finagle one of those. How about he comes too? Like,
yeah, can we like do a why choose?
Yeah, can we turn this into another thing?
Can you come with? Because like I don't want to leave him up there by himself. But yeah. I got a question for you. Who would take care of all of our pets?
I mean, maybe they could come with us.
I don't think they're gonna. And we have cats. I don't think they're coming under the water with us.
I mean, we'll figure something out. I mean, what if it's not a mermaid? What if it's a werewolf? Different.
That'd be cool. But again, that's a dog and a cat. Like,
Anywho, I don't know. But I'm just saying, she wanted to stay because she had a big career. Whatever. So she ended up pregnant. Yeah. So she's like, just tells her husband it's a oops. So meanwhile, Melina has this half-dormant siren, a royal siren in her, that has gone unnoticed. Dang it.
And that's why he's drawn to her.
Yep, because it's his half-sister.
Like, family.
Because he's gay.
Yeah.
He was very confused because he knew he was very much gay and she was very much not his mate. But he's like, why do I have this connection? Sibling. So, that's really cool and fascinating. And Osiris is freaking out because he's like, you know, waiting for Horus to come back with Melina, and it's just Horus and Melina's gone. And he's like, what the fuck is happening? Where is my mate? Losing his stuff.
Where is the love of my life?
Yeah. Because he's like, the battle is over. The shifters actually came and helped with the battles and everything.
Okay.
And so when Melina finally does return, she returns in the grand carriage from under the water with the king of the sirens and her entire family she's found. And now Osiris is like, oh, shit. Because he's been screwing around with the Siren King's only daughter. Big trouble.
He's probably like, oh my god, I'm gonna die.
Yeah. So anywho, they meet and, you know, they have like a big party and it's a big thing. And then her friend gets her like kind of drunk and loose and relaxed to sing. And she starts singing. And it like ensnares everybody, her thrall.
Well, yeah, she's a siren.
She's a royal siren. So it's like got everybody. And even Osiris is just like, as her mate, it super affects him. And he's ready to just take her there in the crowd. Which is kind of a Fae thing anyway, but like they all knew it wouldn't be good. Finally, everybody snaps out of it, and they put her friend in jail, which her friend didn't really mean too much by it. She was like, I really was just trying to relax her. She was so stressed and tense. But there was also like some other treachery going on, of course. Because one of the whole underlining themes with this whole series, especially the fact that these vampires, they're using extremely dark magic. And the dark magic is coming from all these dark sorcerers who have made deals with demons that have escaped from Tartarus. So This is like a whole big mess. And part of this dark magic, they're trying to take over Bulgarian. So each book, these vampires, they like take out a section of it, but they realize there's still more and it's big and it's out there. In this one, they actually have a pretty decently sized battle because of course they were backing the other Fae people. But in part of their book too though, they go traveling through the different Fae areas and they actually stay with some elves. And the elves
You're getting a phone call.
I know, and I'm like, shush. The elves, like, they have a really good time with the elves and everything. And they finally mate and everything after they have, like, their whole wedding and coronation ordeal and all that. It's, like, a whole thing.
They still haven't mated?
Yeah, it's a whole thing. This is a big one. Like, look how thick this one is. There's a lot in this book.
How did he not?
Okay, they mated, but they hadn't marked, I think is what it is. Because it's the marking.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, that seems like, from what I know about Faye, and her Faye may be different, that's a little unheard of. That they don't want to immediately, like, go for it.
Mm-hmm. So, they do eventually get to it. Well, she's part human. You got to remember that. So,
yeah,
but he hadn't marked her yet. Well, after their little adventure and seeing all the beauty and everything, he marks her. Well, when he marks her, the DNA emerges. She's now half Fae, half Siren. Her human side goes completely away. That's the cool part of the marking process. Her human side is completely gone, so now she's half Fae, half Siren, which is strange because typically the genetics don't mix like that. They either become one or the other. They assume it's because she was half human, the human just went away, so it made room for both.
Either that, or it's because she's also royal.
Other factor, possibly.
And he's royal, so, like, it's a double royal.
So, she was told, so more and more stuff goes on along the way, and, she, is learning about palace life and different things and helping him shake up the court and make things better. And, like, all the Fae are free now and they wear their wings and do what they want and are more wild. So, more natural state, not this prim and proper nonsense. But they also, like I said, they have a battle with the dark sorcerers because there's different things roaming around and they're hearing about. Part of it, it turns into a big battle, and Osiris tells her, your ass is staying here or I will paddle it red. Well, needless to say, homegirl don't listen. They had found the leader of the Dark Witches, and what they had been doing also was stealing Dragon Shifter's blood to gain the dark power, which is a big no-no.
Yeah.
So they steal that, and they had a hideout. Well, Osiris goes, and naturally, they're starting to battle, and it's not going very well. And then naturally, Melina does not listen to a damn thing because she does what she wants. She shows up with Horus and, like, crashes through the building, and Horus starts eating people. And Osiris is pissed as all get out that she's there, but he's also, like, rock hard that she just showed up on the dragon in full, like, battle regalia, ready to whoop ass. So, it is what it is. So they win that battle.
I'm so mad. He's like, I'm so mad. I'm so angry. He goes, but we're going to be doing things when I get home. When we get home.
Exactly. So then to top it off, Alpha Cain was there in that battle and everything. And Alpha Cain still doesn't like Osiris. Even though he has a mate, he still gets very spicy about it. One of the things they did when they had her bachelorette, Clara came. They brought Charlotte, like all the different characters you've met so far and different ones. And they snuck off to Atlantean. But, like, they brought this weird drink drug for all of them. And it was, like, all of the guys. And it, like, made them really want their mate and see their mate. And Cain, like, flipped shit because Clara's under the sea in Atlantis. It's a whole thing. It's hilarious. So, anywho, they have that battle.
Wait. So, they gave each of their mate this thing before
they
left?
didn't do it. One of the Fays did because it's supposed to be cool. And Osiris like, this is not okay.
This is not cool. It's like, this is not cool. She's under the ocean.
Exactly. He's going to destroy my kingdom. Because he could. Because Cain is that powerful. So, anyway, that happens. And he's still mad about it. But towards the end of the book, they're realizing that they have got to bring order and that a war is coming. That's what they're feeling. A war is coming. This dark magic stuff that's going on, a war is coming. Because what they had already done, the previous vampire leader's half-sister has been installed as the leader of the vampires. But it's really not going very well because they don't trust her because she's a half-breed in their eyes. Even though she is ridiculously powerful and really cool.
She's a half-breed and her mate is a werewolf?
Yep. So the kids are going to be, who knows? So Osiris and Melina have a lot more that you get into further along in the books. They eventually do have children, but it's like a big thing because they are part of the Dark War. And she actually gets really badly injured. The only reason she survives is because a dragon gives his blood for her. That dragon would be the exiled dragon, which leads us to book 4.
Book 4?
Yeah, we're already on
book 4. Yeah, we're on book 4 now.
Should this be a 2-part? Because I'm just looking at the time.
I think you should do 2 parts for this.
Because I've got several more to go. Let me see.
How many books are in the series?
Just in this one, 9.
Okay,
so we could do book 4 and then we'll go call it. Because the next one would be the Dark War, which talks to you about what they've all been leading up to. So this is the last one we'll cover before we split this, because it is quite a bit. But I love it and I'm excited.
Part 1.
The exiled dragon. It's beautiful, no?
It is pretty.
This is about Creed and Odessa. Creed sacrifices some of his blood to heal Melina. Why he does that? Because Melina and Osiris helped him and his mate once upon a time, so he owes them. So, exiled dragon Creed. Creed was born to the chiefs of the tribe. The chief was his mother. He was born to her, and then she married his stepfather and had another son. And the other son constantly picked on Creed, belittled him and all kinds of things because he's a heinous little rag.
Question, and this could be terribly asked thing. Since he is a dragon, was he born or was he hatched?
Born. He was
born. Okay.
They do get born like babies.
Okay, so it's like obviously based on the cover, it's shifter, but
yeah, he's a shifter dragon. He's not a dragon. Odessa is a human, a pure human, for once.
She stays
Sorta.
human?
No.
You just said sorta.
I said sorta. Because actually there is another factor here, I think.
So she's not?
Listen. Odessa. She is mainly human. So anyhow, Creed, like I said, his stepbrother is a douchebag. And, he was really awful to Creed, and then Creed's mother died. So he lost his only protector. It was very sad. And the elders all said that the queen was raped by some monster, and that's why Creed looks the way he does. Because Creed is a dragon, but he is a dragon who has feathers. This book cover has him with like a goldish looking tail, but he's actually a black dragon, and he has feathers. And it's odd, and he doesn't look like the rest of the dragons. So they're like, she was raped by a monster, he's the product of that, he's just as monstrous as his father, blah, blah, blah. So when his parents were murdered, the brother blames him because the mother and the stepfather were murdered. And she always told Creed to be good or whatever and look after his brother. And, but they were murdered, and so he was exiled from the tribe, and everyone was afraid of him. They said that he was unworthy and unable to receive a mate because he was conceived in such horrible circumstances. So that's Creed's whole story, and it's very sad, very awful.
That sounds sad. My heart is breaking for this boy.
Well, Odessa's story is just as sad because she is a human female who had just lost her father to cancer.
Oh.
She's conveniently found as an adult by her mother, who she hasn't seen since she was a young child. Her mother, who whisks her away to a fantasy world to pay off a debt to the Duke of Vermilion, the vampire kingdom. She becomes a blood bag. Against her will. Remember that whole human trafficking thing I was talking about?
Yeah.
This is what's happening to her.
Okay, so this is kind of like going in time with the first one, right? Second one?
Yeah.
Third one?
They're all kind of happening around the same time.
Okay.
So... she is stuck there as a blood bag, and she's just like, how the hell does this happen? Because basically she's very sad, living her life, all this jazz, and her mother shows up, and she's like, what the heck? But then her mother kidnaps her, sells her away. She's like, this is garbage, which I would agree. You know, my father dies, my mother comes back just to sell me off. What a shit show. Trash life.
Did she know that her mother was awful, or?
No, she had no idea about anything about her mother. Her dad never really said. Her mother has,
because dad was like, let me hide you.
Her mother has, like, the teeniest, tiniest amount of witch blood that can be activated. So she is in debt to the Duke of Vermilion for the blood that she was using to make her magic stronger. And even then, it's still really not that strong. And so she sells her daughter to pay for it.
Okay, so the daughter does have witch roots, but not, like, witch.
It's so minimal, it's really nothing.
Okay.
So, she's there, she's in a cage, but she's the Duke's favorite because the Duke wants to make her his. Something about these vampires and humans, man.
Well, I mean, they can drink off of them, so...
They could drink off of each other. It's like maybe what they do.
Maybe human blood tastes better.
I don't know. But it's a whole
I'm
thing.
sorry, but you're telling me right now that if a vampire came and told you, hey, you're my mate, you wouldn't go?
Oh, I mean, I would go, but, like, not with one of these suckers. This is a little different.
You wouldn't know, though.
Yeah, but this one does, because he's abusive and mean and awful.
Okay.
So, different. Anywho. She manages to escape one night.
Good for her.
So she takes off running. She's just in a little nightie, but she takes off. She's running. She falls. She hurts herself. She's, like, buried up under one of the giant trees. Because she's like, I am clearly not on Earth. This is a disaster. She's like, where will I go? What will I do? Well, she's found the next day. After spending all night out in the rain, running, shivering, and cold. She's found by Creed's pet, Fluffy. Which is this weird little creature. Who was, like, kind of abandoned, and Creed's always raised him, and he's like a dog kind of creature type. He looks like a fuzzy anteater, but, like, he acts like a dog.
Anteaters are fuzzy.
Okay, well, his name's Fluffy, and he's adorable. He's just, like,
wait,
a four-legged creature.
What did you think... I'm going back to this. What did you think anteaters looked like?
I'm thinking of aardvark, not anteater, because aardvarks aren't hairy.
No, they are not. Okay, so you're thinking of
I've got all my animals confused because I'm sweltering. Let's get into my brain.
Armadillo? So, a fluffy armadillo?
Kinda. Like, he has an armadillo type face, almost.
Okay.
Anywho, he's really cute. He's adorable. He's awesome. He finds her, and she's like, this creature is sniffing. And Creed's like, what's down there? And then Creed's like, what the heck? Creed thinks she's like a little doe because she's got big doe eyes and she looks terrified. And he, like, decides to take her home and help her. And he's like, she's so beautiful, she's so wonderful. Like, he's very drawn to her, and she's like trusting of him, even though she's a little freaked out because she's like, well, it could be worse. He's at least helping me, protecting me. He's not trying to kill me. He's not trying to take me to the back to the vampires. The thing is, though, Creed can't talk. Creed can't talk because his brother sliced his vocal cords when he was younger and it didn't heal properly. He sliced his vocal cords because he couldn't have Creed telling his secrets. Because Creed realized that he somehow was part of the parents' murder and stuff. He was doing bad things. So he sliced his vocal cords and made sure no one would trust him even if he could speak. So that's what's going on with poor Creed's life. But Creed is banished from the tribe, so he lives outside the tribe of the dragons, but he's like the guardian security, so sometimes they come out there to check on him or harass him. So he has to hide her, so he puts what they call yellow crest root all around his place so nobody can find it, but he has to go get more from his sister-in-law, because despite his stepbrother being a douche canoe, his wife is a beautiful, wonderful little dragon and has been friends with Creed since they were all little. So she still helps him out and everything, and he feels bad for her because her husband is a douche rocket and treats her terribly.
So was she mated to the stepbrother?
Yes, unfortunately she was mated to him.
To the half-brother? That's sad.
Mm-hmm. Allegedly.
Allegedly?
Allegedly.
There's hope?
There's so much hope. So,
okay, good.
This story is a bit wild because it definitely ties into the whole dark magic that's coming up and the blood that they use from the dragons. Because over time, you realize, well, first they kind of are like finding out. So he takes Odessa away. And part of that is because, well, no, sorry, I get ahead of myself. He did not take her away. She got kidnapped because she got hit by arrow with a tranquilizer by the elves. And Creed came looking for her, and they were trying to trank him, and she had to show up to calm him down. Because they were like, what the heck, you're with the cursed dragon, black dragon, they call him. But they're, like, leery of him, but they also are like, he's never done anything to any of us. I don't know why he has such a bad reputation. Well.
So they're questioning the brother.
Oh, yeah. Everyone who meets Creed, who's not part of the dragons, is always like, they say he's done this, this, and this, and he's awful, but everyone's like, he's just a chill dude who lives in a cave on his own.
Like, he doesn't bother anybody.
Exactly. So, they're hanging out with the elves, and the elves are like, well, you know, this is different. And she's trying to explain. Odessa is like, he's my mate. And they're like, Creed can't have a mate. Black Dragon can't have a mate. And she's like, why not? She's like, I can feel it because they've come to fall for each other, be very close. And she loves him regardless because he's her protector. Mm-hmm. And he's very attached to her. So one of the elves is part witch. Her sister is also a witch. She has two sisters. And they're actually a little witch group, and they're in different parts of the kingdom that have helped with different things. So she's like, there's a spell I can cast to see if something's been cast upon you. And so she finds out that Creed was given something where he would not recognize his mate. Because if he were to meet his mate, it would break all the spells on him. So one of the first things Clara has to do is she shows up there to kind of investigate what's going on because of all the humans, the accusation of the humans being with the vampires. Because they're like, Creed, you can't just bring humans here. How did you get this human? And she's like, nah, Creed didn't do this. Those vampires did this. She's willing to tell him all about it. She's like, there's tons of humans. They're trafficking us in. And they're like, well, we need proof. And so she finally like rolls up her sleeves and is like, here's your proof, and shows all the bite marks. Because they didn't just nicely bite. They're vicious.
No.
So Clara's like, I believe them. Something's definitely going on. Her mom was all like, this isn't how you should handle the situation, but she did it her way. And thank God she did, because as the story goes on and they continue, like, we should be allowed to be together, all this other stuff, it all comes out in the wash that Creed is actually the legitimate heir because his mother was not raped. His mother met her mate. Her mate was a non-dragon, a griffin. The king of the griffins, like the leader of the griffins. So when they found
He's
out...
He's half griffin. It's why he's fluffy.
That's why he's fluffy.
He's feathery. He's feathery, not fluffy, but yeah. Same difference.
So, because the elders were like, no, this is unacceptable. Because this is part of the thing. The dragons were worried about dying out. Because there hadn't been any females, hardly at all. And they weren't having sons, and they weren't having any children, and it was a mess. So they're like, dragons have to breed with dragons to create more dragons. But with all these forced pairings, no one's able to have babies. It's not working. So, they did magic and threw like a powder into the griffin's eyes. And the griffin, has been wandering around lost with no memory and has no idea that she's dead or anything. It's a whole problem. It's very sad. And so they figure out all of this is going on, and turns out his sister-in-law isn't actually his sister-in-law. His stepbrother just wanted her and made them give her the potion to recognize each other as mates, even though they are not. So that's why she has struggled this entire time to carry his baby. Everyone treats her like garbage, like she's a horrible chief's wife because she won't produce an heir when they literally screwed it all up with their nonsense. Turns out her mate was actually with her the whole time, which was her head guard that she was very close to. When the spells are all broken, they're able to find each other and waste no time claiming each other. Odessa and Creed also get all down to business because they find each other. And while they're out there in the Elf Kingdom, after Clara and Cain have met with them, Melina and Osiris have invited them to the castle to, like, figure stuff out. And then once they decide that they're going to go ahead and, like, do all this stuff, because once he marks Odessa, she will likely become a dragon. So they have a cave that they let them use, which is part from Osiris's book. And he puts like a sign out front that says dragons mating. Danger. Like, like, don't go in there. You might die. So,
like, if you rip me from this woman, I will kill you.
Basically. So, Odessa becomes a dragon. She doesn't just become a dragon. She becomes this beautiful opalescent dragon. A magical dragon, if you will. A powerful dragon. Why? Because they're going to break the curse. Because, you know what else? Since his father was actually the mate of his mother, guess who's actually in charge of the tribe? Creed should be the alpha. Not
you
the
already
stepbrother.
said this, so this is not new information.
Did I?
Yes.
Sorry. The ADHD kicked in. Anywho,
I
I've
was
already
like,
forgotten
why are
what
we
I've talked about.
repeating?
The brain's not working. So, Creed, of course, he doesn't want to be the alpha. He doesn't think those dragons are going to listen to them, and he has no desire to save their hides because they've been such douche rockets to him his entire life. So he opts to not rule with them, and there's actually a really, really cool thing where the goddesses, in order to right a wrong, allow his mother to come back. So his mother takes back over as the chief with her mate, and they have more little dragon griffin babies. And Odessa and Creed have little girls. Precious little girl dragon babies. But their survival and everything, because Cain and Clara were part of this whole debacle and defeating the bad dragons because they were trying to get the dragons on their side to fight in the war, because dragons are obviously super strong, impenetrable for different things, an excellent ally to have. Well, the dude, the stepbrother, I don't want to say his name wrong because he was Adam in the one book, and then I feel like it got changed to Seth at one point, so I'm going to stick with Adam because that's what I remember. He's the douchey stepbrother. Him and Cain were kind of like buddies, and Cain's like, there's no way. But then as they start seeing all the evidence and everything, he's furious that this guy got one over on him, because he was totally not going to join him in protecting anything with the dragons, because he wanted to, you know, keep giving off the blood and working with the dark power they were giving him. So that was a mess. So they were part of that. So you see them again. And like I said, there's all kinds of bits and pieces. There's always callbacks to other books. And these are the first 4 books before we get to the Dark War, which I guess we will continue in part 2. So in part 2, we will cover books 5 through 9, which are the Dark War, and then the Vampire's Second Chance, which is about Sebastian, which is the vampire that asked Clara to be his other mate. And then there's Alpha of Her Dreams, The Broken Alpha's Princess, and Twinning and Sinning, which are about Clara's children and their stories post-Dark War. So that would be the second half. And then, of course, like I said, we cover the gods. Then there's also the books where she brings in the orcs, which you will learn about the orcs in part 2 when we talk about the Dark War. Because there's a whole series about the orcs, and I've read a couple of those already. The orcs are hot orcs. They're not ugly orcs. I'm just going to tell you now.
Are they still green?
They're still green. And their dicks are purple. They turn purple.
I'm sorry, hold on. Their dicks are mood rings?
Like part of the bonding process for the mating, it like turns purple. I think it either turns purple or it's always purple. I don't know. There's definitely mentions of purple. I know. You're so welcome. The series is a wild ride. Because with the dragon, you have the dragon man learning. He's learning what the words are. One of my favorite parts about this. Because he like, the man, because the mate bond, that's another thing that I have like a little neglected, but you kind of can tell. The mate bond heals things that are wrong with you. So, guess who can talk now? So she gets to hear his gravelly little man voice. And then he's also, you know, she's like, he's learning how to talk. But you know what words he does know? Dirty words.
So he likes dirty talking her?
Yes, and she's like totally unprepared for it because he was like shy, quiet Creed, and next thing you know, he's over there talking all kinds of things to her. This is an excellent series.
Listen, you're making me want to read this so bad.
I have a lot of them too to get started. They're also currently, if you have Kindle Unlimited, they're free on Kindle Unlimited.
Okay. You know what else though? I can't top your books. My next book series that we're talking about, because mine is also a series, but we're going to talk about them all at one time, is hockey players.
I mean, still a good series, but
it's a why choose hockey players, but it's a hockey players. Which, by saying that, I bet so many people now understand which books I'm talking about.
Probably. But,
alright, we gotta go through it. All 4 books, smash or pass.
Oh, jeez. Like, everyone? I don't know. Honestly, like, Cain, he's one of those ones that you'd probably say yes to, but you're gonna be a little terrified that you might die.
Okay, and book rating?
Like I said, all of these books are, like, 12 out of 12. 12 out of 10. Like, I'm not...
12 out of 5.
This series is perfection. I love this series. Okay. I'm very excited that when we go to the spoiler alert, we're going somewhere.
Smut lovers.
The Smut Lovers Conference in Orlando. Vera Foxx is going to be there, and I think I'm going to take this one so she can autograph it for me.
Hopefully. I don't know if it's going to be possible.
But probably be weird to take them all, but...
just bring it back.
So, Kane, I feel like I would, but I would be terrified of dying.
Okay.
Mr. Wesley, I definitely would.
Okay, I feel like these two...
Because he has the long hair. I got the thing about the hair.
Oh, yeah. You know my thing about long hair. I don't... yeah, no. I would smash.
Yeah.
I will agree with you on those two.
Yeah. Osiris? Oh, yeah. Because I could probably learn a thing or two. Honestly.
Oh, is he that?
It's very interesting up in here. And he's very much on top of his role as she's a brat and he's in charge. And then Creed, yeah, because Creed is like, he's very much like the hot Viking vibe with the whole tribe of dragons and everything. You just can't not go there. And all the tribal tattoos and stuff. Dragon.
What is there to say besides yes?
What is there to say? Not to mention, you meet all these other characters in the books as well, and you're kind of like, alright. Like, the side characters are awesome, too. Everybody gets a story. Like, stuff is always happening in all the books alongside the main character, and it's just a phenomenal universe. But yes, we can conclude today's episode with books 1 through 4 before we dive into books 5 through 9. Any questions?
Probably, but you just overloaded my brain with information.
That was a lot. But, like I said, I'm
real proud of you for getting through 4 books in an hour and a half, though.
I'm pretty proud of me, too. Because... And, like, that's the thing, is, like, I've left out stuff, because we typically leave out some stuff. But then also, like... I left out a little bit more because we got to get through them, but it's still, I still feel like that's enough to make you interested, especially the connection, because a lot of times I think people will start a series and it goes on too long, but this one is interesting and it keeps growing and changing, and then it changes into other series, and I like that, because she has this series, the Under the God series, and then the other series that comes out of it is, like I said, the Orcs of Matanka Wood. And then she has another series she started called the Iron Fang series, which is about a shifter motorcycle gang. Definitely good reads there, too.
That's, like, right up my alley. Okay.
Totes good. Totes.
So, I will say, for the listeners, because this is a part 1 and part 2, Cecily will be getting 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, boy.
Just because we don't want to leave you hanging for 2 weeks on something like this. So, she will get her 2 weeks in a row, and it'll be glorious.
And it will all be posted on our Spotify and our YouTube.
YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Besides Apple, because we're really struggling, guys.
Still?
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. We hope you keep listening, and we hope you enjoy.
Happy reading.
Oh, yeah, and follow us on Instagram at Sweet and Spicy Pod for all updates.
Obviously.
And obviously fun reels that Cecily makes, because they're great.
Which she remembers.
Bye.